Okay, we are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the stream. I hope that you've made it over here okay from the live premiere of my latest video, or that you've just made it here at all. If it's after that, welcome. Just gonna wait a few minutes in case anybody else wants to join. Also, just to start off, if you're new here, my name is Rachel. I am an archaeologist. I've been running Inside Archaeology and a YouTube channel for about like 8 years. and I thought it would be fun to do a live reaction to this video done by MrBeast, who I think is probably like, if not the one of the biggest people on the YouTube platform. It's always really interesting to see people like this interact with archaeology. Um, I will say that I have never watched MrBeast before. I know a few things about him, some of which is, I guess, positive. I know that he like dedicated a lot of time to mastering the YouTube algorithm, which has clearly um, worked out in his favor. But I also know that recently there's been some controversies about people that he interacts with. And I also know that when it came out, it was announced, I think, in like September, October this year, that he had rented out the pyramids for 3 days, exclusive access. And when that happened, people were not happy about it in the archaeology community because they didn't know what he was going to be doing it for. And also, the like the average person or like archaeological project would never be allowed to do something like this. So, yeah, I'm really interested to see what he's going to discover inside of the tomb. Hi, everybody in the chat. I hope you're all having a lovely um, day. I have put his name in the thing. I don't. Do I need to put an at or something on it? Let me know if there's anything I should do to help with the algorithm. I'll start off by saying as well, we'll talk about this thumbnail in a second, but in case anybody's really looking for qualifications, I have been to the pyramids. This is me. Um, standing in front of the Great Pyramid in Egypt in 2010. At the time that I was there, I did not go inside. I've not been inside any of the pyramids. And this is not because I necessarily couldn't. I am a little bit claustrophobic, but it was more so that at the time that I went, and I'm not sure if it's still the case now, uh, there was only a limited number of tickets sold every day for going into the Great Pyramid, and they were obviously highly coveted. They sold out really quickly. And then also at that, so I was never actually given the chance to buy them. Additionally, I probably couldn't have afforded it because at this time I was a student at university and doing everything on the cheap. So yeah, haven't been able to go into the pyramids. Would love to be able to do that one day. That would be hilarious. Hi, Joaquin. Um, in terms of have I studied Egyptology, I have a degree. I have an undergraduate degree in Near Eastern and Classical Archaeology, which includes study of ancient Egypt. When I was at university and for my undergrad, I did classes in Egypt, Mesopotamia, Greece, and Rome, and then I have a master's in human osteoarchaeology. I originally wanted to become an Egyptologist, and I like probably that's the civilization ancient civilization I know the most about. It's something I still really actively read about and research. I just didn't see, I wasn't sure what a career would be like as an Egyptologist for me, and I wasn't interested necessarily in academia. I wanted to be like a field archaeologist, so somebody like actually doing the work, which is a great segue into this picture that I have here of me working just below Edinburgh Castle in Scotland. So I used to work, in case you're, again, if you're unfamiliar, I have 2 degrees in archaeology, and then I worked in Canada, in the US, as an archaeologist for a while. I don't work in archaeology anymore for varied reasons, of which you can find videos about on my channel. I won't get into it. We need to watch this today. I don't want to take up too much time blabbering on about my life. But yeah, I'm a real archaeologist. I've worked in archaeology, and I miss it. I do miss it a lot. What's the? Oh yeah, that's me with a pot, an ancient pot. It's very unglamorous archaeology life. You're covered in dirt and high vis a lot of the time. Um, yeah. I would so we'll start off with a bit of a thumbnail review here. Yeah, that's one of my favorite pictures that a coworker has taken of me on site. I don't have many, so I recycle them a lot, but that is one of my favorite photos. I have to get it like printed up one day and put in my house. I haven't had that done yet, but it's on the list. All right, so enough about me. Let's talk about the thumbnail. Um, Oh, I have so many problems with it. I've seen from some of the other thumbnails of the other reaction videos that he had a different thumbnail on this when he premiered it originally, which was him with him standing in front of the pyramid in like an Indiana Jones pose with the pyramid in the background, which I actually like better. Like this is wrong on so many levels. Okay, where do I start? So, first off, what's going on with the perspective here? Tombs, not that big. Giants, never been found in Egypt. What are the barrels for? What are they keeping in there? That's what I'd like to know. Also, this, I think, I'm assuming, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm assuming this is going to be partially AI generated art. Um, because, yeah, it's incorrect. The markings around the side don't look hieroglyphic to me. The jewelry is not Egyptian in the slightest on this mummy. Um, you'd like if you were going to be making this as an actual thing, you'd think you'd at least use like the Tutankhamun collar, like that, like those big jeweled collars are like classic Egyptian jewelry. So you would hope that they would do that. Yeah, the hieroglyphs, those don't look real to me. I don't have a degree in hieroglyphs, but I'm at least passingly familiar with them. And these don't spell out anything and they just kind of look like nonsense. And obviously, this is all way out of proportion. So, yeah, the thumbnail isn't giving me great hope that this is going to be good, but you know, this video's had 140 million views, so if anything, at least it's drawn some attention to Egypt, which is currently struggling a bit with its tourism sector. And yeah, we'll see if we have aliens or not. So I've never done a reaction like this before. So please bear with me. I'm going to turn the video on and we're going to watch a few minutes. And then where I think I might have like a good stopping spot, I will stop and then I'll give you my thoughts on things as we go through. And hopefully I won't get enraged and this isn't going to take 2 hours. The video is only 21 minutes. So I'm really hoping I can do this in like under an hour. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. Have unrestricted access to all the Great Pyramids. Oh, I'm gonna restart. Oh, okay, it's restarting. Oh, ads. That's fun. I somehow have unrestricted access to all the Great Pyramids of Egypt. Okay, I gotta. I didn't even make it 5 seconds in. I somehow have access. Um, you have access because you have so much money and a huge following on social media. This is not I have so many issues with that statement. Sorry, not to be rude, but like it's not a mystery as to why you have access for this. And the Great Pyramids is also a misnomer. Like these it's really interesting because people tend to I think only think that there's like 3 pyramids in Egypt. There's like over 100. And the 3 at Giza are the most popular, obviously, and one of them is only one of them is actually known as the Great Pyramid, which is the biggest one, Pyramid of Khufu, the one who built it, the first one who built at this site. And side note and promo, um, I have several videos on my channel all about the pyramids. I even have myself playing a old game from the 90s about city building in ancient Egypt where we build the Great Pyramid. I have the Lego Great Pyramid in my living room and I did a whole video about the building of it. So I know a lot about them. I studied them a lot, and that's just a nitpicky thing. One of my favorite facts that I like to tell people about the Great Pyramid is that it wasn't actually called that by the Egyptians. All pyramids have their own personalized names that the Egyptians would have referred to them as. So Khufu's is actually called Akhet Khufu, which means Khufu, like Great Horizon or Khufu's Great Horizon. Yeah, I gotta double check that. There's so many different ones. I'm pretty sure that that's correct. This is me doubting myself now. Um, but I'll double check it later. Um, yes. All right, let's see if I can get more than 5 seconds in.
Whoa. No, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
We'll be
Well,
going
yeah.
into the tombs of ancient pharaohs, places that are literally illegal to enter because they're incredibly dangerous. What if we fall?
Oh yeah, you'll definitely die.
We'll even be swimming through a secret underground tomb beneath the pyramids.
Oh my God.
We've only been granted 100 hours to explore. And we're gonna start right now. Follow me, boys.
It's about to be fun. This is so beautiful. Someone 4,500 years ago put this rock right here.
Correct. This
Yep.
pyramid dates back to about 4,500 years old.
The passageway we're in leads to what Egyptologists say is King Khufu's tomb, the pharaoh who may have ordered the pyramids to be built.
I don't like that he's using the word may have here, but I will get into that later. And I am correct. It's called Akhek Khufu, which means Khufu's horizon, not Great Horizon, but close enough.
Whoa! Hey!
This room is called the Grand Gallery.
What percentage of this pyramid do you think we've seen so far?
We
Not a
might
lot.
never know the answer to that question.
That's the coolest way he could have answered that.
This next room was
Okay.
the king's final resting spot.
As far as we believe, yes.
Let's do it. Whoa! Holy crap, boys! What is this?
4,600 years ago, this chamber may have contained the king's mummified body.
This is where the pharaoh was buried.
This is what we believe is the final resting place.
Believe? How do we
Well, is it the final resting place if he's not really there? If he's not there anymore?
not know?
I think somewhere inside this pyramid, there's another chamber that we have not found yet that might have the body of the king.
Who's this guy?
You know what? In this video, we're gonna find it.
Because we will literally be
I very
soaring
much
from
doubt it.
hundreds of feet below the pyramids up to the highest point in the largest ancient pyramid on Earth.
Woo! That was awesome! Before we go explore the other giant pyramids, I want to show you guys base camp.
Yeah.
This is nice. We got a dinner table, some tents to sleep in, and
Whoa! Wow. Okay.
we even brought lights so you can see the pyramids from camp.
That's got to be the most expensive nightlight that's ever existed.
This is the pyramid we're gonna explore tomorrow. I want to start at
I wish I had this much money to do this.
5 a.m. Everyone get some sleep.
These pyramids were so technologically advanced for their time that some credit them to a pre-Egyptian civilization.
Oh, no, please. Please don't. No, I don't want to.
While some point to even crazier theories like aliens. But Egyptologists are sure that they were built by the
Oh.
first Egyptians as tombs for their kings. And by
Yes. Oh, I like that. That's nice for him to say that.
the end of this video, we're gonna find out which of these theories is true.
All right, boys, I hope you're ready to explore the next pyramid on our list, the Pyramid of Khafra. What is special about this monstrosity?
Well, this pyramid is how we learned how the casings of each pyramid look like. This is how they all looked like at some point.
That was right after the aliens built them.
No aliens.
No.
Rami led us 100 feet below the Earth's surface, deep into Khafre's pyramid. This is a place where hardly anyone in the modern world has ever been. So to be honest,
Because there's only a limited number of tickets each day, they're really expensive. Just saying. Hi, Faverka. It's good to see you.
we had no idea what to expect going down here.
The ancient Egyptians had cardboard.
Oh,
We
okay.
believe that this was the burial chamber for King Khafra for the longest time.
And now they're using it to store stuff.
Well, they're restoring the pyramid, Jimmy. They gotta use tools.
So that means there's a real burial chamber.
Yes, Rami actually took us to the real resting place, thought to have once held the body of King Khafre.
I see a big ceiling. Whoa. Dude, we're deep in this pyramid.
Here we are. The final burial
That's graffiti by Giovanni Belzoni, one of the first people to enter the two pyramids. And you know what his favorite method for exploring pyramids was? Dynamite. That's why we have to restore them on the inside.
chamber of King Khafre.
No, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
What the heck, bro? What is this?
Wait,
Look at the date.
the graffiti right there is the guy who discovered this tomb.
He claims he discovered this tomb. Yes.
This is where the pharaoh was buried.
This is the final resting place for King Khafre.
Is it disrespectful to lay in there?
I wouldn't worry about the disrespect so much as the curse.
What does the curse do to you?
Do you want to try?
No. All right, let's get out of here before we get cursed.
Okay. Oh, man. Okay.
Oh my gosh, that pyramid is insane.
The king's tomb did
I'd really like to know, they're not like talking about this, but like how hot it was in there because when because I haven't been inside the pyramids, but um I did go inside a bunch of tombs at the Valley of the Kings, and I went down in. I remember going into one, and I think it was Tutmosis the third. I could be wrong, but I got down there, and it is the hottest I think I've ever been in my life. Partially because there were so many people in a small space, and there's obviously no air conditioning, yada yada yada. But like it gets hot in there. Um, yeah, tickets limited because air quality and also moisture. Yeah. Um, mhm. I think the tombs and pyramids are the friends we've made along the way. Well, that's a great comment. Dynamite battering ram. Well, indiscriminate destruction in order to try and find treasure is kind of the ammo of a lot of the early explorers of the pyramids. Unfortunately for them, and unfortunately for us, I guess, they had been looted for a long time before Belzoni or anybody else went inside the
Didn't really answer many of our questions. However, the
pyramids.
portal to the underworld, deep beneath the pyramids, could have everything we were looking for.
This is the tomb of God Osiris, where very few
Oh my gosh.
humans have ever been.
What are we doing?
As you can imagine, the god of the underworld's tomb is pretty deep.
Also, I'm loving the like Indiana Jones-esque wardrobe of everybody here, like wearing leather jackets and fedoras and all that. Not that I mean, I own a fedora. I'm not throwing shade, but just saying.
Underground.
Oh, heck no. It really just goes all the way down there.
After you, Carl.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Why is he walking down so nonchalant?
This is the entrance, Carl.
Yeah. To the god of the underworld.
This is a tall ladder.
It's actually really deep. Like if you fall,
Oh yeah, you'll definitely die.
yeah.
Yeah. Safety, health and safety in place in Egypt, and a lot of places in the Middle East, is more of a guideline that's not super strictly adhered to, in my experience.
This is getting pretty scary. I don't like this anymore.
And if we weren't already scared enough, we then came across this.
3,000-year-old
Human. Oh my god. Why am I still?
Oh, that's okay. uh Now, some of you might think that I'm saying this because he's touching it without gloves. It's more like that they just have that chilling down there. For like, I mean, not that anyone really seems to go down here. This seems like it's probably a restricted area. But the fact that it's just like laying out just to be like picked up is kind of weird. I would suspect that that's been placed there or left there for the sake of cameras. Otherwise, it should be like in a box getting preserved somewhere in a storeroom. Just saying.
Still holding this? Dude, is this a part of the skull?
This is the skull, yeah.
Oh my god.
When we go down there, we will be so far underground that there's a chance we pass out due to a lack of oxygen.
Correct.
Chandler is heading to Osiris's resting place.
All right, here we go. Oh, in the water. Whoa.
Oh my God, they found the water table.
You can tell the air's pretty thin down here.
Wait, what is this? Oh, this is a rock right here. Is this a rock or a lid?
Right in the center of the room is the sarcophagus of God Osiris.
Right here is supposedly the gateway to the underworld.
Yeah. So try to get in.
To the underworld?
Well, yeah.
Screw it.
Oh my god.
This sarcophagus is allegedly the portal to the underworld, and virtually no humans have ever been here before.
I think, like, I just. mm, I know that this is all being said, like, to, drum up an audience and stuff, but like that virtually nobody has ever been here before. Yeah, because it's got like restricted access and they don't let people down. That's why. Like, it's also pretty dangerous. Oh my gosh. I wonder if they had to get screened for leptospirosis. Um, I have to. What is that? What's the lay term? Lep leptospirosis. Uh, yeah, it's like a blood infection that Wheals disease. That's what it is. So it's an infection that's spread by like rats and stuff like that that gets into the water. And like when I worked on archaeological sites in the UK, we like had to do safety briefings about leptospirosis on sites and stuff like that from the risk of like rats and everything getting in here. So like, oh, I don't know if you'd be able to convince me to go into that water and go underneath that water without some extensive testing and or on either side of it for something like that. Um, yeah.
Oh my god! Why am I here? Why I'm a YouTuber? What do we?
Look all the way to that right corner up there. That's a shaft that goes to nobody knows where.
Carl, get up in there.
Probably because it's a
I
bit
can
too
go
small for people to go up.
I'm so scared, bro.
Carl, that's not smart.
Dude, I'm literally in a tunnel in ancient Egypt that nobody's ever been before.
No one is crazy enough. Can you explain to us what's happening?
I'm in a turn in the cave, and it's getting thinner. Dude, I'm literally, like, actually, like, actively kind of stuck in this thing. Carl, you're making history.
Yeah.
It's been longer than the safe limit for oxygen.
Bring it out. I'm ready.
So before we literally all die and see the underworld for ourselves,
There's no gracefully doing this, is there?
we got out of there
No.
as quick as we could. Because I wanted to live long enough to explore the never-before-seen shafts of the Great Pyramid of Giza, where literally less people in modern times have been than have gone to space.
I don't know if there. So I'm gonna do some stuff in the chat, but I have to mention this first. There was this TV show that was like archaeology's attempt at reality TV that came out over a decade ago. It was, I think it was called Chasing Mummies, and it was partially produced by Zahi Hawass, who is, you know, a very controversial figure in Egyptology, but he's an Egyptologist. He used to be in charge of antiquities, and he really likes to bring cameras around to the stuff. And the premise of the show was that he had three like postdoc students who were like following him around and doing projects, and there was like drama. And I actually met somebody, one of the postdoc students who was on it while I was working in Canada, and he was telling me all about it. But the reason I bring it up is because in it he took a girl into these shafts that I think they're going to go into in the Great Pyramid, and it's like a multi-hour task to get in them, and she ended up having to pee inside the Great Pyramid because she had to go to the toilet and she just had to go, and then he spent like the rest of the episode berating her about it. Yeah, it's really bad TV, but yeah, I always just can't stop thinking about that. Yeah, this is all very interesting. There's like 31 people here, which is crazy for me. I never get that many people in my live streams. Hello. um uh, Yeah, I mean, going back up, like obviously the Egyptian interpretation of the afterlife changed throughout the history of Egypt. So like that's why obviously they use pyramids in one part, and then they use tombs in the other parts. Um, Abydos is, yeah, usually the place that I feel is associated with Osiris. I've not explored this tomb of Osiris that they've talked about before. My knowledge of Giza is more about like the wider cemetery around it, because and it'll be interesting to see if they mention it. There's actually like, I think it's 6,000 tombs at Giza surrounding, including the pyramids. So there's like all the queen's pyramids, there's a bunch of mastabas, and then there's tombs of the pyramid workers. There's like tons and tons of burial monuments at Giza, but people only tend to focus on the big three. So I'll be interested to see if they're going to mention any of the other ones, including like the one that we think is potentially of, people call him the architect, but Prince Hemiunu, which is spelled Hemiunu, if you want to look it up. Um, his tomb is at Giza, and his list of titles, I think he's a nephew of Khufu. And in his list of titles, it's like overseer of the king's construction projects. So people are like, oh my gosh, he's the architect, potential architect of the Great Pyramid. I prefer to think of him as the potential project manager. I think that is perhaps the more appropriate term, but we'll see. Sorry, scuba diving. As the tunnel gets too small, made of natural rock, there's a big chance there's nothing behind it. Yeah, like voids and natural things in rock exist. Also, if they were really interested, they could send a robot up there. Especially nowadays, they do that all the time in the pyramids. You hear about anything happening in the pyramids nowadays? They've sent a robot through a crevice somewhere with a camera, and now they're coming back and they're telling you about it. Sorry, Jake, that this is just too hard to watch, even in the background. Um, yeah, I remember watching Chasing Mummies in high school. Yeah, it's so cringy. Uh, no mention of the pyramids in the Bible. Well, the Bible's not set in Egypt, Glenn. So, well, and it depends on which part of the Bible you're talking about. um, all right, we're 7 minutes in, so
Who wants to ride a camel with me? Let's do it!
love riding camels. This is going to be eventually funny.
Have you ever been bit by a camel?
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
Does it hurt?
Yeah.
Yeah, because camels are nasty. They don't screw around.
Oh. I told you! Another big day of exploring ahead! This is unbelievable!
They didn't show them getting onto the camels, and I'll bet you it's because if you're not prepared for it, it is like potentially the most awkward thing. It's not like getting on a horse, like because they kneel down, and camels when they go down, they go front and then back. It's not like getting on a horse. You can't just like go up to a stepping stone and get onto it. Like they kneel down, you sit on them, and then that means that when they get up, they go back legs first. So if you're not prepared, you could like literally fall off it because they'll get up and you'll like lurch forward and then you lurch backward and then they get all the way back up. And I bet super graceful camera. Otherwise, show it.
Taylor, you good? Oh. Help! I can't! Give me all this thing, bro.
I love riding camels. Like they're I don't know. I like riding camels is fun and way more comfortable than a horse if you know how to do it properly. But if you don't, yeah, it can be not good. I had somebody once, we were riding camels and the camel decided that it wanted to scratch his back. So in the middle of somebody carrying them, it just went like whoa bump and it just like collapsed onto the sand and started rolling around. Luckily the person was okay, but yeah, that was surprising. Uh Ministry of Tourism just announced a massive cleanup and care of camels at the Giza Plateau. That would be nice. I mean, yeah, that the animals at a lot of these sites don't get treated very well. So it would be great if they invested some money into making sure that they were properly cared for.
Dude, it looks so good!
This is probably one of the coolest shots ever. Me just riding a camel by one of the great pyramids of Egypt.
Bro, this is absolutely insane.
And now, the director of the entire Giza Plateau is joining us for the third pyramid on our list, the Pyramid of Menkaure.
If you look at the bottom, you'll still see some of the granite from 4,600 years ago remaining. Here's an illustration of what they think it used to look like. Wow.
I really like that he's using illustrations, just saying.
But now this is all that remains, almost 5,000 years later. This is my friend Nolan. Can we send him to go scout up there?
Yes.
I got permission to do something normally illegal.
Nolan, be careful!
Can you just like start yelling at Nolan? He'll freak out.
You don't really get many opportunities to climb a pyramid. I want to take it, bro.
Enzel! Enzel, Enzel!
Down?
Yes, down.
All right. Nolan, not a bit. You gotta come down. Come on. Yeah, I'm going down.
Enzel! Yalla! Yalla!
Hey, he's kidding.
Yella. Amber's saying, I heard a lot of the tourist guides harass you when you're there. It's not the tour guides, in my experience, that harass you. It's people trying to sell you tourist stuff. And at the pyramids, well, for me, it was at the Sphinx specifically. It was children trying to sell you things. And even if you ignore them, they can be really persistent. And at the pyramids as well, it's like taking pictures is the problem. So if you want to do if you want to ride a camel, you're going to have to pay extra money to do that, and there will be people harassing you to say, "Go, get on, come and ride my camel, and I'll take your picture." If you take a picture of like someone like an Egyptian or someone riding a camel in front of the pyramid, is a really beautiful shot. They will ask you for money for having taken their photo, and they will follow you and ask you for money. So yeah, if you're going to take a picture, don't have anybody from Egypt, I guess, in your shot would be my advice. yeah, bakshish is a way of life around sites like this in Egypt. And I don't, to be honest, it's not necessarily like a modern thing either. I think I've heard that it's gotten worse in the past few years, but not having been to Egypt, I can't say whether that's true or not. Um, I will tell you about my dissertation in a minute, Candelo. We'll watch another minute or two of the video and then I'll come to your question.
Hey, keep going. He's kidding. That was a joke.
Oh my god, you had me freaking out. Oh my god, I thought I was gonna get arrested or something.
Lead the way, sir.
Let's do it!
Whoa, wait, point the camera down there? Why is it so dark?
We will switch the light off.
Yeah.
Okay, that would explain it. All right, lead the way.
The initial descent of the pyramid took us down a shaft over 100 feet below the ground to the very first chamber in ancient Egyptian history to have decorative carvings.
What is this?
A decoration of false doors. We didn't have any decoration inside any pyramid from the 4th dynasty except this one.
So this was done
This is from the 4th dynasty, not the 1st dynasty, but what over? Okay.
4,000 or 5,000 years ago.
4,600 years.
Furthering our journey deeper into the pyramid, the next shaft brought us to Menkaure's
Antechamber.
Whoa, there's so much history in here. What's in that room?
I can't tell you nothing there.
Have you been up there?
No,
Then how do you know nothing's up there?
because I can see from here.
Oh, yeah.
Just a tunnel, nothing there.
Okay, yeah, you can see
Yes.
Always be skeptical.
The Pyramid of Menkaure, known for its complex passageways, had one final descending shaft that led to the burial chamber.
So this is the king chamber, and it has a vaulted ceiling to relieve the weight.
How did they know that 5,000 years ago?
If you can build a pyramid,
You can build anything.
you can do anything.
You can do anything.
On our way out, I got to thinking, why is there 3 more pyramids outside next to this one?
What are these 3 mini pyramids?
Menkaure, he got 3 small pyramids for the queens, the wives.
So Menkaure had 3 wives, and
There's not necessarily sure that they're all, I think, well, not these specific ones, but there's also this like thing of satellite pyramids and like Ka pyramids that are built for like the king's spirit. They're not necessarily all just for queens, but broadly speaking, yes. I'll also, okay, so I'm going to pause it here because I have an interesting story about Menkaure's pyramid in that this was the only one that we actually found a sarcophagus in it in modern times in 1837. It was described as being black, like basalt and rich in detail, and then had a wooden coffin inside of it that had his name, and it had the contained remains of a mummy, whether or not it actually was him. People who found it actually took it out and were transferring it to the British Museum, but it got shipwrecked off the coast of Spain. So the only, sorry, that was the sarcophagus. A wooden coffin was found in a different chamber. These are 2 different things. So the sarcophagus made of basalt was trying to be sent to Britain to the British Museum, and it's now somewhere in the Mediterranean off the coast of Spain. And then they found a coffin somewhere else in the pyramid as well that had his name on it, but it was radiocarbon dated to being a lot later than the New Kingdom, so it was put in there long after the actual pyramid was built. Okay, Candela, I've talked about this a million times. What did you do your dissertation in? I was saying at the beginning of this video, I have an undergraduate in Near Eastern and classical archaeology, so Egypt, Mesopotamia, Rome, Greece, and then I have a master's in human osteoarchaeology, which is the study of human skeletal remains. Yeah. On the cults of Isis and Serapis. Very cool. My master's dissertation was on a collection of skeletons from a site in Bulgaria that was previously, it was a Greek colony. And so I was looking at the skeletons and then their grave goods to see if they followed traditional Greek burial practices, etc., because it was a colony. It wasn't in Greece. So were they fully adopting Greek culture or not? It's kind of the 2-minute summary. Yeah. Claimed it sank. Well, yeah. Who knows?
These are
Maybe
their
it's in the
tombs.
private collection
Yes.
somewhere.
Nolan, come over here. Oh, God. If he can have 3 partners, you can at least find 1.
I mean, it's a work in progress.
I did discover a mummy. She's not asking for money. She's always listening to you. Never took too much. It's a good choice for you.
You just offered me a mummy.
Yes.
The things we do to find you love.
Our time with Ashraf was coming to an end, and before he left, I wanted to hear his take on this.
So aliens didn't build the pyramids.
Aliens,
No.
come on, don't break my heart. We have 124 pyramids all over of Egypt. So each time I'm calling aliens, come build a pyramid for me. Cannot be like this. Egyptians
Thank you.
Yeah.
were the builders.
Tariq,
I like
don't
that.
bring up aliens again.
Yeah.
Egyptians built it.
If you can build a pyramid, you can do anything.
Yeah! Let's go! And by anything, I guess that also meant a massive, half-human, half-lion mountain of a sculpture, which I'm sure is crawling with secrets.
And now we're at the Sphinx with Dr. Zahe, the man who
Aha!
everything here.
I read on
I knew he was going to show up here somewhere. There's a camera doing a show in Egypt. Zahi Hawass is going to find a way to be on it.
online that there's a temple buried beneath the Sphinx, filled with gold, and I'm on a mission to find out.
Who is right, Dr. Zahe or all the conspiracy theories on the internet?
Okay, Jimmy,
Yes, sir.
help me.
Oh, whoa, is that an entrance?
Yes.
I cannot believe I'm entering the Sphinx.
Oh my god, they're going in the Sphinx's butt.
I want to see if that temple's real. I'm not sure I'm gonna fit.
You will.
Whoa, this is cool. All right, let's see if there's any hidden gold. Zahe, I just see an empty hole.
Then I need you to give a statement right now. I need a statement.
All right, Zahe, there was nothing inside the Sphinx.
Jimmy, we are going to make history.
And what better way to make history than by leaving a message for the future?
How long do you think this paper will survive down here?
Thousands of years.
Really?
We'll dig it now.
With the letter, can I bury this gold swarm?
Perfect.
This is worth $10,000.
Really? This is for the future.
Yo.
And I guess the internet conspiracy theories are right, because the Sphinx definitely has gold in it now, thanks to the rarest swarm in the entire world.
Guys, I'm trusting you not to steal this gold.
At this
Yeah, good luck getting in there, okay.
point, I was starting to wonder what the other boys were doing until I heard this sound above me.
Zahe, do you hear some helicopters? I can't believe we're doing this!
Somehow, the boys convinced the Egyptian military and government to let
Somehow, again, somehow, as in, we have lots of money and clout, and we can bring a lot of attention to your tourism industry. Oh man, okay.
them fly around in helicopters while Zahe and I were exploring the Sphinx.
This is an awesome day.
But the coolest part of this entire experience is yet to be seen.
When you take us to the top of the Great Pyramid, you're gonna show stuff on camera that you've never shown before.
Amazing things.
No spoilers, bro. This video is gonna keep getting better as we go on.
And before we climb to the top of the pyramid, we thought, what better way to look for more hidden secrets than in a place that almost no one gets to go?
Rami, where are we?
We are at the tomb of Emery, one of the places that is completely illegal for people to go in.
That's
It's not illegal if you have permission. It's illegal if you don't have permission. Oh my god. Okay.
why you're gonna unlock it.
Before we go in, it's extremely, extremely important not to touch these walls. Do you hear me, Nolan?
Loud and clear.
You should stay out here. Just maybe.
Hey, finger
I
food.
will not touch the walls. Finger food.
A
Where's that?
wall toucher.
Where's that wall toucher?
Hey, Butterfingers.
Oh.
Ready?
Yeah. I thought I had seen it all, but nothing could have prepared me for what I was about to see in this tomb. Whoa. Guys, come in here. Oh my gosh.
Oh, this is beautiful.
This was the tomb of the high priest at the time, which is like the pope of the time. No one is allowed in here because these colors cannot be hurt after surviving 4,600 years.
This drawing is 4,600 years old?
Exactly, 4,600.
Carving.
It's everywhere. Whoa.
And tombs like this were sometimes more important than pyramids for us. They explain the daily life of Egyptians. This is the one we figured out how ancient Egyptians made wine.
Really?
They're stomping on grapes up here and going through the process to bottling the wine.
So this is like a YouTube video, but 5,000 years ago.
This is a how-to video.
Dude, this is the most beautiful room I've ever been.
Wait, Carl, there's more over here. Whoa, what is all this?
These are normal ancient Egyptians giving the normal offerings, ta and hanket, bread and beer, to the high priest Emery.
How do you think the high priest would have reacted if they offered season 2 MrBeast Lab swarms that are available
Oh my gosh. Wow, that's cringe.
now?
I think Emery would very much appreciate it.
Much like the buzz around MrBeast Lab Swarm Season 2, our 4th day in Egypt was just getting started.
We're kicking things off by going to the Workman's tomb and joining an active excavation. Today,
Oh, this is gonna be exciting. So I recently did about like a video about the Great Site of Giza. So about like everything except the pyramids. So talking about all the other tombs that are there and the tomb, the city of the pyramid workers, and all that kind of stuff. And the village of the sorry, not the village, the cemetery of the pyramid builders. I like obviously talked about that, but it was really hard to find images of that on the internet because it's not been published. Zahi Hawass. Um, I could only find like a mention of it on Zahi Hawass's website with some really bad quality photos back from when he first found it. So I'm really excited to see them go and do this. Um,
Today's gonna be a great day. Let's have some fun. Woo! The only thing that can make this moment better is some Feastables chocolate.
Ooh, wait, for all of us,
oh my gosh, so much product plugging here. Jesus, guy, come on.
maybe?
Yeah, you can look at the pyramids.
Man, that would hit with Feastables.
Ironically, probably better for him to be having like Pringles or something with salt with it because it is going to be hot there.
So in my mouth, probably.
And so, with only 22 hours left, I thought we'd upgrade from camels to something a little faster.
Got drone ready?
Go for it.
This is so sick! Yeah! Woo!
This is way too much fun.
Let's go! We're ATVing by the pyramids right now. Why'd we ever ride camel? I feel like I'm in Indiana Jones.
We are now at the Workman's tomb. Let's see if we can find one.
And who better to show us around the workman's tomb? Once again, Dr. Zahi.
These are the tombs of the pyramid builders.
According to Zahi, this is literally where the people who built the pyramids were buried over 4,600 years ago.
In many other tombs, Jimmy, you see beautiful painting, but those people are poor.
This is so beautiful.
This man, his name is Neferfis.
Wow. And I know what you're thinking. Just because the writing on the wall says the people who built the pyramids are buried here, it doesn't actually prove that they were. And I thought the same thing until I saw this.
Wait.
Is that what I think it is? Is that a skull?
Zahi,
Yep.
I need to ask you something because they're gonna question this. You did not put the skull here.
No. This is the exact location of the skeleton.
From 4,600 years ago.
Yes, we will not move it
And
at
you're
all.
letting me excavate it. Is that a spine?
Whoa.
Yeah, we found out that all the skeleton here of
Oh, I think MrBeast is going to get the archaeology bug. I will say there is, I mean, did they plant that? No. Did they probably know that was there and like kind of set this up for this shot? Yes. It's not like it just like, yeah, it just, that did not happen spontaneously. Um, but yeah, it really is a unique feeling to come across something that nobody else has like touched or looked at for thousands of years, and like there's nothing like it. And like one time when I was on a excavation and I was doing it, I was kind of like found something really cool, and the professor that I was working for was like, "It's addictive, isn't it?" And I was just like, "Yep, it definitely is."
men and women had stress on their back.
Okay.
Why?
Because they're moving 2-ton blocks?
Exactly.
Yeah, so what he's talking about here is some osteological analysis that they've done of the people that they found in the cemetery, which showed that they had signs of doing lots of manual labor throughout their life, both men and women. They also had they had signs of people who'd had like fractures, so broken bones and stuff like that, who had then had them set really well um, for that time, which is, I think, really cool because when we talk about the people who built the pyramids, one of the big misnomers is that it was done by slaves. No, it was a force of laborers, Egyptian farmers, and workmen and craftsmen and stuff like that. The large bulk of their workforce only worked part of the year round, but they did have a year round workforce working there. And we have a hard time understanding why people would want to do this because, you know, we theoretically wouldn't do this, although I'm sure you could pay people to build a pyramid nowadays if you really wanted to. We just would do it with different methods. Um, but if you think about it in the mind of an ancient Egyptian, like you were building this for the king. It was a state-run project. It's a federally run project. It's funded by them. While you're working on the project, you have it's like working in some ways like in the public sector. You have really good job security, especially when it's something that's taking 20 to 25 plus years, and your average lifespan is is probably between 40 to 50. So yeah, great job security. While you're working on the project, you're fed and housed by the state. The food that you're getting is good quality food, like that we know from the bones and stuff of animals that they found, that they were getting like high quality food at that time to eat. And now with being able to see that they were getting fractures set and taken care of and stuff like that, also means that they got really good health care. So like it's got the best benefits of any job around. Why would people not want to do it? So that's my spiel about that.
Very smart guy. Those, nothing.
Yeah?
Will not say anything.
And this is why you keep saying that aliens didn't build the pyramids, because the workers' bodies are literally here. This might be the coolest thing I've ever done. Thank you for having me do this, Ahe. And tonight, we still have an insane adventure left.
We will reveal many secrets for the first time to the world.
He's not joking. We will literally be ascending to the highest point inside the Great Pyramid, where less than 50 people in modern history have been. This might be the best day ever.
Perfect.
But before we ascend to the top of the Great Pyramid, we need to recharge our energy back at base camp.
You know why I gathered all of you here?
Ancient Egypt?
More important, the season 1 of Swarms is
Okay,
almost over.
can I
Every
skip
single
this?
swarm
Okay,
currently in existence. And this is the last.
I don't want to
This is
watch
the part
that.
of the pyramid we're going to be climbing to. Wish us luck.
I don't want to watch that. That's just, yeah.
And to make sure we explored this entire pyramid, our guide suggested that before we go to the highest point, we make a stop at the very lowest point, hundreds of feet deep below the pyramid.
Why are we going down this 300-foot tunnel?
Well, you asked for things that no one else does.
Why did the pharaohs just build a nice staircase to the top?
Because they wanted to protect their mummies and treasure. That's the whole point of a pyramid.
Pyramids make me regret being 6'5".
Yeah, dude, that was a stupid choice.
Bro, look how deep that tunnel goes.
I hate being tall.
Please tell me we're halfway there. Please.
Nowhere close.
And he wasn't lying. This tunnel kept going for hundreds of feet, but after almost an hour struggling through these narrow passageways,
My knees. Ow.
Jimmy, this feels like we're buried alive.
we finally made it to the bottom.
Whoa, I can stand. Rami, is it normal to be lightheaded?
We just crawled down over 300 feet.
I have bad knees that hurt. Whoa, this is
Yeah.
huge.
When we
And now you have to get back up again.
first discovered this, we came into here, this massive chamber, and nothing was found.
Why was it empty?
That's another decoy.
They went through all this effort just to create a decoy chamber.
Correct.
Decoy chamber, or it just could be that they just partway during building were like, nah, I don't think we're going to use this.
Which makes you wonder,
Is the chamber we found the real chamber?
is it also a decoy?
Which would imply that Khufu's body could still be in here, somewhere in the pyramid, proving that the pyramids were built as tombs for the kings of Egypt. But this decoy chamber
I bet you, even if they found Khufu's body in a pyramid, there would still be people being like, oh, he's just repurposing it for something else. It's still a time machine.
also included the deepest point in all of the pyramids.
Guys, I'm gonna be the person that's gone the deepest. I'm at the lowest point of the pyramid!
And now that we've been to the lowest point of the pyramid, let's go to the top.
From here at the bottommost point, the same long passage took us to where we could meet Dr. Zahi and begin our ascent to the top of the pyramid.
Now, I need you to choose the 5 people that they will go with us.
Only 5?
5.
Who's staying behind?
All right.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
No!
Hey, Nolan, it was nice knowing you.
Hey, fair and square.
And so from there, we somehow ended up back in the corridor we went through on day 1 to get to the king's chamber.
We started the video off going down this tunnel, but to end the video, we're going to the hidden chambers up above. In the last 5,000 years, less than 50 people that we know of have been up here. Is this a bad time to say I'm afraid of heights?
I couldn't think of a worse time for you to tell me that.
And let me tell you, it was not easy getting up here. The top of this ladder led to another tiny passageway.
The final hour of the challenge, and we're making a journey to the top of the pyramid. This is hard.
Good, Jimmy. Good boy.
Not gonna lie, I thought this would be much easier. What is this over here?
We are in the 3rd chamber now. We have 2 under us. But the most important one are room number 3, 4, and 5. Now, room
So these are the relieving chambers above Khufu's burial chamber. And so like the theory is that they're made to relieve the weight of the pyramid above it from the roof of the burial chamber so that it wouldn't collapse.
number 4.
All right, let's keep her going.
Okay, let's go.
Chamber number 4. Whoa! Carl, look at this! We're about to head
to the tippy top of the pyramid.
This is now my favorite video ever.
Isn't it awesome that Nolan's not here?
Yeah, that's my favorite part of this entire thing.
But anyways, let's head to the top.
Let's do it.
Oh my gosh.
They didn't mention here, maybe they will in a second. These relieving chambers are also one of the places where well, obviously there's more modern graffiti, but this is where we also found the graffiti of the names of the work gangs who built the Great Pyramid. Yet more evidence that it was built by the Egyptians. So yeah, they had like work gangs and they all had names that were usually like related to Khufu, and they would put their names on these stones that they hauled up here, and it was like we were here, like Khufu's favorite work gang was here. That's not one of the names. I'm making that up. I can't remember what they are off the top of my head. I'll see if I can find them.
Zahe,
Yes,
how did you do this?
I have no idea.
And just like that, we are now at the highest point inside the pyramid.
We made it, Chandler.
Oh my gosh, there's so many bats in here.
Ew.
This is not how I wanted the video to end. We got like 2 minutes left or we're being attacked.
Jamie, come here.
Next video, I became a vampire from the inside of the Great Pyramid.
It's one of the names of the gangs who built
Oh, they are going to mention it.
the pyramids. Hyper means team, Simsu means friends, Cartouche, Hofu, Hofu.
This means the group, friends slash gang of Hofu. And that was written 4,600 years ago.
Exactly.
Throughout this video, we have learned as much as we could about the origins of the pyramids. And the Egyptologists have shown us the best evidence they could find.
Egyptians were the builders.
From the workman's tomb to the skeletons buried nearby, which had all been affected by manual labor, to looking under the Sphinx for secret rooms and treasure.
There's not aliens down there.
To researchers, this graffiti is the nail in the coffin for anyone who doubts that ancient Egyptians built these pyramids as tombs for their pharaohs.
This is the end of our adventure.
I have no idea why Egypt let us do all the things we did, but I'm eternally grateful.
Because you gave them a lot of money.
Shout out to this country. You guys rock.
Scribe for MrBeast.
It's
Ascribe. Oh, that's hilarious. Okay. That's the end. Oh. Well. What do we all think? There's 41 people here, which is a lot of people for my live streams. So please let me know what you thought. In general, that was not as bad as I was expecting it to be. It is a bit, it glosses over stuff. Obviously, it's 20 minutes. You're not going to get a lot of information in an in-depth video. And I really like that they were, you know, taking them through all the different things that it's like, this is how we know that the Egyptians would built it. Although, you know, I think any person would say there wasn't a lot of like tons of proof. It was kind of like, how do I say this? Summarized really quickly, and somebody saying Egyptians built the pyramids. There's a lot of other reasons and more in-depth reasons as to why we know that the Egyptians built the pyramids, and I have several videos on it. So shameless plug, you should really check them out. I'm actually in the middle of scripting one at the moment, which is all about the evolution of pyramid building, because again, I think people think, oh, the pyramids, they didn't build them and then one day they did, which is not the case. There is an evolution of a style of tomb building in ancient Egypt that brought us from no pyramids to big pyramids. And then, I mean, afterwards, everything changes again. You know, things don't stay the same. And while these are great projects and they are very impressive and they last for 4,600 years, they're also not great for your economy because they don't really generate a lot of revenue. Especially when you put all of your gold and fun stuff inside of them. Aim Free is saying it's a great primer. Yeah, I think that's a great way to describe it. It's a great introduction to the pyramids in ancient Egypt for people, especially considering that MrBeast has like 369 million subscribers and 140 million plus people have watched this. I think that's great, especially given the prevalence of pseudo archaeology on the internet and how much the algorithm likes it because it's rage bait. So to have somebody this big doing a video like this that is promoting, that the fact that the Egyptians built the pyramids and all this different stuff about them, I think that that's great. So don't it, yeah. Could have been much worse. I agree. things with the tunnels under the Sphinx, real or fake? Some, well, they're real in the sense that there are tunnels in and around the Sphinx that exist. Um, but were they tunnels made by the Egyptians? It seems doubtful. They're probably tunnels that were either some people think that some of the stuff on the top of the Sphinx was like made so that they could like put stuff in it, like and other stuff might have just been tunnels that was dug by people later who thought that there was something underneath the Sphinx to be found, and they were making those tunnels. But it was, at some point between 4,600 years ago and now, so it's kind of hard to date, especially since they're probably robbers' tunnels. People aren't going to advertise that they're going around digging tunnels underneath the Sphinx, if you understand what I'm saying. Um, it felt super clickbaity. I mean, it is kind of clickbaity, but that's MrBeast's specialty. At least that's my understanding of it. Um, More to stay and show. Good because it doesn't overload with news info. Bit cringy in spots. Yeah, the self promo is a bit. Although I say that, I do that too. Um, Way better than Joe Rogan. Yeah, I would agree. Good for archaeology. Rage bait. No, but it looks like an ex flat earther is. It's real. Its short hole doesn't go anywhere. Very good drawing and Leonard's dissertation. Yeah, exactly. Um, the tunnels exist. They don't lead anywhere though, as we saw. And it's most likely that a lot of them are dug by someone 2,000 years ago trying to find treasure underneath the Sphinx. Um, yeah. I would be interested to see if he's going to do anything else like this, but I don't know if there's really any other sites he should go and try. There's no other great wonders of the world that you can go inside. I'm very jealous that he got to go in all of those crazy tunnels into the relieving chambers. They also, it's interesting that they didn't mention anything about the big voids and the research that they're currently doing in the Great Pyramid. So um uh the if you think there is still work going on in the Great Pyramids to try and assess them. The difficulty with a lot of this is that you can't damage them, and archaeology is inherently something that is destructive. So as we excavate sites, we destroy them. So we cannot do that with the pyramids. So we have to use other ways of doing it. One of the ways that was really popular a few decades ago that I think they're still doing a bit of, and I think will probably become more and more viable because of how fast drone technology is going, but it's like sending robots into all like the cracks and crevices to try and see if there's any other chambers. There's also people doing something that's called muon tomography, which is I don't really understand how it works. It's not my specialty, but they're like using atoms and cosmic rays to kind of somewhat X-ray the Great Pyramid to try and look for other chambers that we've not found yet, which were actually I say chambers, that the technical term that we should really be using is voids. So VOIDS. So empty spaces in the pyramid. They're trying to look to see if they can find any of those. Um, and they have found at least I think two. There's one above the Grand Gallery. They just released information about it. I think it was last year or the year before. They managed to get a camera at least up to look and take a picture of one of them, but again, it was empty. So this guy Rami saying things about how there might be another chamber filled with gold. I I I doubt it. I mean, I would love it. I would love to be wrong. I would love to be proven wrong in that sense. But the pyramids have been around for 4,600 years. If there was any gold in them, I think it's long gone, to be perfectly honest. That's a long time that people have had to investigate and go in it and take stuff out. Yes, they didn't always have dynamite and stuff like that, but they've had a lot of time. So 1 out of 10 rating. I would say my knee jerk reaction is like 6, 7 maybe. Like I said, more detailed information would be great, but yeah, it's just the audience that you're going to. I don't like if the self promotion is quite cringy, and the um oh I don't know how this happened. How was I given access to this? I find kind of I think a lot of archaeologists will be a bit annoyed about that because this guy is getting more access than like the vast majority of people working in archaeology in Egypt, because he's a media personality. You know, say what you will about people being able to argue however you want about whether or not that's ethical. Um, uh, Thank you for watching it for me. I don't want to click anything from MrBeast. Yeah. Um, one being all right, 10 being the most accurate. Yeah, like I wouldn't say that anything in here that they did is inaccurate. I would just say that it's just not super detailed. It's interesting that they didn't go look at the city of the pyramid builders that's being excavated by Mark Lenner, which is a settlement to the east of Giza that they found like galleries and like granaries and like evidence of a I think it's a town during the time of Khafra and Menkaure, which with potentially stuff underneath it that might date to Khufu, but it's where people lived while they were building the pyramids. So, um, who wants to see the cat? Ugh. Oh no. Here's my little Bastet. Hey, baby. She's coming to tell me that it's almost bedtime. Who's my wee kitty? Good girl. Got to pay the cat tax. She always comes in here around. Well, if I'm at this computer, she comes around this time to either beg for food or tell me that it's time to go to bed. um, yeah, I have to make a video about hero banquet votive reliefs. Oh, sounds very good. What I wonder is if a new chamber was found and was full of undisturbed treasures, how would we get to it? Um, it's an interesting question. Because the answer would probably be, well, it's that's up to the Egyptian government and how and structural engineers and people being able to figure out if we'd actually be able to get into it. I think that they would be very well, actually I don't think that they would be super reluctant if it was full of treasure to go and try and get inside of it. But it's something that would be have to be handled very, very carefully because it would trying to get to it would cause further damage. You'd have to argue about the what's the benefit of getting to the treasures instead of like you know trying to do it remotely, because if you get to them you also have to then be able to get them out, um etc. So yeah, that would be a question for the Egyptian government and Antiquities Council. Interestingly, it was earlier, it was last year, there was somebody trying to um, he's one of the other antiquities people. He was announcing a project to not necessarily do a reconstruction, but it was something to do with trying to reconstruct the casing of Menkaure's pyramid, or recover some of the blocks and like change it or like put them back. And he was working on it with a Japanese team, and he announced it as this big thing. And there was and so it's not excavating the pyramids, it's putting things back. And there was a huge outcry against it, and people were ticked. And there was a lot of protest against him doing this, even though you could argue that he's reconstructing the pyramid and restoring it. Um, and they ended up having to like scrap that. It was decided they put together some committee to look at it, and they decided that they're not going to do it anymore, et cetera, et cetera. So considering that that is what would happened in this case in terms of trying to kind of somewhat restore it, I don't know, but I, we find a treasure, a room full of treasure, everybody's going to want to have a look at it. So it's kind of hard to say. Um, Best at very cute. Avery Whistle. No, I'm not. I don't currently do digs anymore. I would love to be able to go on like a short dig. I've got my fingers out to try and figure that out at some point. It's just kind of a matter of making it all work. I don't work. I never worked in a university. I have friends who are running digs now, so I'm hoping that I can somehow figure it out. But my kind of issue at the moment is having enough time to go on it, because usually a dig, an academic one, is like 6 to 8 weeks. Um, I am currently on maternity leave, so I can't go do a work dig / I have a baby that I have to take care of. So that's kind of the biggest issue at the moment is but I would love to be able to find some digs to go and do and participate on and be able to film. That's like my ultimate goal for my channel. So maybe one day if I'm big enough I can figure it out. Um license at the moment. Once you find any relic in someone else's backyard, it unfortunately isn't yours, even if you found it first. Yeah, it's not necessarily, I mean, it depends on where you live in terms of like quote unquote finders keepers. Here in the UK, there's it's different as well between England and Scotland. I live in Scotland. Here, if you find it, it doesn't belong to you. It belongs to the state, but that doesn't mean that you don't get compensated. So if they found like a major treasure trove on your land and they were digging it up and it had a value of millions of pounds and stuff like that, like as the landowner, even though it doesn't belong to you and you don't get to decide what happens with it because it's like a national thing, you do get compensated for the fact that it was found on your land. So it's not as bad as you probably think it is. Um, and also with big troves like that, it's in the interest of a country not to give ownership of something like that to a private individual who might end up selling it to another private individual, and then that thing which could contribute to our knowledge of that country's heritage just disappears into a private collection for forever. So somewhere here like Scotland, a lot of the time like museums and stuff like that will have the opportunity to turn down something like that for adding into their collection, and then if nobody wants it then it might go to a private sale. But yeah, things belong in museums, but museums don't have space for everything. So not everything ends up in a museum. Limited free spaces for participation. It's not it's not free spaces. I mean, it's just difficult. It's like finding the time, finding the money to go do it. I'm the other thing for me as well is that like I'm an experienced archaeologist. I know what I'm doing. It's not my first time holding a trowel. I would bring valuable skills to a project. So maybe vainly, I don't want to pay extortionate amounts of money to go and do archaeology. I'd rather be like a project staff member that comes in and does stuff and maybe trains and teaches um, people, but in a different respect. But maybe in a few years, because as I said, I've got friends who, even though I don't have a PhD, they have PhDs and they're all starting to run their own projects. So maybe if they need some help and they've got enough funding, or if YouTube takes off enough that I can make enough revenue that I can then use it, I would then be able to use it to travel and go do digs, which would be amazing. So that should be why everybody should like and subscribe to this video and watch some of my other stuff so that I can make enough money to go do digs and film it all for you. There you go. Just a bunch of boys. I mean, that's the average person that's probably visiting the pyramids, though. Not everybody is a history buff. My state archaeological finds belong to the landowner. Yeah, it really just it depends on where you live and what the laws are. Some people own it, some people don't. It's just yeah, it changes country to country, state to state. Right, I've been doing this for an hour, so we're going to start wrapping this up. Um, Yeah. So yeah, overall rating is I would say a 6 out of 10. I'd be interested to know if he goes to any other archaeological sites. He should definitely take me along to the next one because yeah, this is very boy heavy. And that would be my other complaint is that there aren't any girls in this video, but I don't know what MrBeast's crew and stuff like that is like. He has a fiance. He should be taking his fiance and having a nice romantic night under the stars in front of the pyramids. Why is he taking all of his boys? Just saying. Um, yeah. um, okay. I hope that you guys all enjoyed this video and at least found it mildly entertaining. If MrBeast watches this and looks up at it, no hate. I'm just trying to ride your coattails so I can also make tons of money to be able to go and do a bunch of cool stuff in Egypt. I'd love to go back someday. I visited it about a decade ago, so I'm sure it would be really interesting to go back and see it nowadays and look for some things. Maybe his next thing that he should go look for is Cleopatra's tomb up in Alexandria. Where do you think MrBeast should next visit as an archaeological site? Let me know in the comments or the live chat. yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, tune in for the next video. Go watch Archaeology News. This month we had an interview with one of the people who was part of the project that found the tomb of Tutmosis II just outside the Valley of the Kings. That was released in February. It's all over the headlines. And yes, thank you for coming along. I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and I hope I see you on the next stream or the next video, the next live chat. It's been great having you around, and have a good rest of your Sunday and have an excellent week. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.